When someone creates an idea, and inside this idea, they create the idea of something outside this idea that plays with the idea itself at a level that is not the idea itself, but beyond anything you could conceive. Here at this level. Like that, with that information at that level. Inside that game, while you collect the information for yourself. To crawl out of one person's idea means you're no longer playing with the pieces that separate you from yourself. So I will not play with things that are of an idea that is separate from this world until it is time for me to play with that world, if indeed there is. For some of us, and for most of us, and in some ways, all of us have our own unique way of doing that. When you bring those ideas to play here in ways that are more of a permanence, you create a ripple in one person's life to connect. You will not connect fully to life, living to your greatest potential if you fear what is not here with you today. That is the ripple effect that you need to heal with the idea. The idea comes from one being, all beings, or any being that has experienced life and death in this room. Those beings come back at their respective levels to describe a labyrinth of the mind, which is not part of the physical realm as much as we are, though we play with it as if it is. That, mixed with a lack of oversight for long periods of time in genetic evolution at any level, and I mean any level, not just human beings, but also other beings that become mildly, if not entirely, aware of the same process at their level. It's as if that world creeps into this one naturally with us. But like that, some develop skills to separate worlds. So like you would lift a veil to kiss your bride, you could also lower that veil and object to your own marriage, so to speak, in this world, if you find that that world does not belong to yours alone, or it would pervert the one life you have here as one. In any way possible. Those ideas are the ones you let go of, because reality speaks for itself. What I'm doing now is talking. What the underworld is not doing is that. But from that world of within, I've created a voice, so you could say uniquely, that's hypocritical to what I just said because of that unique perspective. All that was to say is that my inner voice has now become the external version of what was already inside my head. So, What I'm doing is taking something that is of this world, the photo and the phono, and creating compartments for its division. So on one side, you have the mind, and on the other side, you have its creation, which is the experience. So if we get lost in one being's idea and play it like a game for long enough, you could lose a sense of direction for what it meant to be, whatever this fleshy thing is supposed to be in any way, shape, or form. Especially if that idea isn't yours alone. So if we don't take credit for what we do, we gotta know what we're giving credit to. If you really think about that for a moment, you could take any concept, any idea, any religion, any educational system, any system at all. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. And it would belong to one thing as a group, which still belongs to an idea as a being, which still evolves from the need, which is the game of life. Or you could just call it life, because some of us found when we call life a game. Today, I would agree, because some of us think games are just meant to be played. Well, they are, just not the way that we play them all the time. Because some people don't play games very well with each other or anyone else, especially not themselves. Now, if you are into healing the mind from these different areas that do not unify thought at a congruent level to help a cohesive process of information to produce better working ideas for an idea that could be broken down. Not to say you lose the idea entirely, but you keep what you want and lose the rest. That's a modification of information at any level, which is what anyone does at best with any bit of information that you could grab in this world. So when we do this, it's to edify a situation that needs cohesion, because you no longer desire to be torn apart by things you don't understand, which is the worlds between this one being explained in a way that this world does not hold the way you do when you first get here as a man or a woman or whatever. Because the things that you do later in life, if nurtured and or culturally, just environmentally speaking, triggered in you, these gifts and or ideas can be dangerous if you play with the dead. Now, that means the realm of the no longer physically incarnate. If you are doing that, plus living this life, you are doing the thing we ask you not to do, which is playing a game with life that leads to death. And that kind of death is forever. So if you practice voodoo or witchcraft or any of that outside the realm of fantasy, outside of that, like for real, like if you actually do these things, that's the part of you that is dead. That's the part of you that is dying. That's the part of you that will probably not enjoy an afterlife, because you're bringing their world into ours in a way that no one wants to relive. That was the evolution of soul. If we wanted to live that way still, we would be. There's a reason we do not. There's a reason that our gifts were for a time and for a season. Because we weren't meant to be too advanced. Certainly not Nephilim. And if we were going to fight each other at that level, then you'd have to know that that psychology is just the serpent in its best form, an idea that just gets into humanity and helps humanity hate itself. Though we don't. We really don't. It does. So if you let that part of you rule you, you basically work for the darkness and are a traitor to your human being, the being you are. Just you. You couldn't be trusted. So you will be tossed into an eternal fire. Your bodiless body, you, the being, will no longer enjoy being at that moment. So that's the route I saw for you. If you practice things like that at that level, at a realistic level. When you play with death, you don't get life. And death will not offer you wisdom when you get there at that level. You made your choice. Now you have time to clean it up. Because if you're hearing my voice and you thought that was you, the boat fits. You need to fix your life real fast. Stop playing with the dead. Please. So that way we can get back to life and be a little bit more realistic about what that really means to us. For me, it means don't play with people's games, expecting to win something if they're the creator of that idea. In this case, stop playing with the idea of God, because no one wants to hear that right now, especially if it's one thing's idea of itself, fighting itself in any direction you go, because it does. And that's all it ever does. It doesn't want to exist, and we know why. That's evil. It doesn't want to live, it wants to die. It may not, hence the suffering. And this is a merciful level of hell for anything that understood that. So, that's all. That's all I got. Don't play stupid games, won't win stupid prizes. And if you're gonna play a stupid game, there's always a way out. Just gotta talk to its owner for a bit. No doubt. There's a way. And then when you're done with that, you put that Jumanji back on the shelf, you tell the kids to stop listening to that damn drumming and no more doing things without me, cause I'm off doing stuff, cause, family shit in life. Rule 5 and 8, we get out the damn jungle, we beat the game with the kids, everything goes back to normal. Don't play that fucking game. It's a bad juju. All right. And that's it. Now I feel better. Have a good night. Love y'all.